outlining dodgy procurement and widespread corruption in acquisitions linked to tech giant EOH Holdings. CEO Stephen van Coller has told the Zondo Commission of Inquiry how the company lost over R1 billion. This was between 2015 and 2018, when the company had abandoned running financial background checks while also making massive advance payments to supposed service providers before they did any work.
When we did our original review, we came up with just shy of 1.2 billion rands worth of suspect suspicious payments. We subsequently worked through those and we ended up with about 865 million to date. As at the end of the submission, ENS tell me 700 million is for no work done, and most of that is not, most of the payments aren't related to any contracts. They just find themselves into the contract accounting, so in a way hidden. There's about 160 million for dubious work done, consulting services or that with no specific things.
Van Coller says putting an exact final figure to the wasteful expenditure hasn't been an easy process.
And the reason why we started with the 1.2 billion was, I suppose it's a bit like if you know you've got skin cancer, you don't go and cut neatly around the edge, you actually take a bigger piece out to make sure that you don't miss anything. And that goes back to the in-depth and the conscious decision that EOH made to be very conscientious around doing the investigation.
He also said that strict laws governing financial transactions in the private sector meant nothing in the face of state capture operatives.
My last bit to corporate South Africa, it does take two to corrupt, and the advocate said in the beginning, you can't steal from yourself. There's always someone bribing and someone paying the bribe, and it's so easy to blame the government, blame the private sector, but in many cases it's the public sector actually making the payments. And in some cases that I found quite disappointing, people say, well, we have to do it, it's the way you do business, otherwise you don't get it. I think that's nonsense.
Several probes are underway into corruption linked to EOH. They include a forensic audit into a 400 million rand irregular contract for the design of an identification system for the Home Affairs Department, and a probe into EOH's involvement in another multi-million rand deal with SASSA, the government's social grants payment vehicle. But EOH has distanced itself from any corrupt practices related to the awarding of contracts for the management of SASSA's IT infrastructure. For Newzroom Afrika, Channel 405, I'm Tumaole Mohlaoli in Johannesburg.